Hey guys, it's me, Carrie. I think I've mentioned to you before that I'm not really like a happy la la sunshine, woohoo, life is great kind of girl, and this video kind of is gonna capture that perfectly because I'm shooting it about nothing and everything at the same time. Um, if you've been around a while, or even if you haven't, bears repeating, I guess. I suffer from depression. I have my entire life, as far as I know. I mean, I saw my first therapist when I was around 7 or 8 years old, I'm guessing. I clearly recall getting a gift from a therapist, female, thank God, because if it was male, that would be even ickier, which crosses lines of all sorts, but I guess when you're a kid, it's different. But I remember getting a little acrylic box with my name on it and some stickers and like paint pen stuff when I was 12 for my birthday from my therapist. So I mean, I know I've been in therapy at least since age 11, but I'm thinking it goes back to more like 7 or 8. My mom doesn't remember much about anything, so she can't refresh my memory, but that's to my recollection about when it started. And it wasn't an ongoing thing. I mean, it was a sporadic thing throughout my life. I am now 43. I haven't seen a therapist since 1999, not by choice. For several years, I thought I was doing better and didn't need therapy, and then lots of circumstances happened where I didn't have insurance, or I didn't have enough insurance, and right now I'm on Medicaid, where technically there's supposedly Medicaid therapists that accept Medicaid, but whenever I call them out of my provider list, I never get return phone calls. So obviously, most of them don't want to take Medicaid because that means they're not going to get their 150, 100, 200, whatever dollars an hour reimbursed. And as much as therapists are supposed to be compassionate, and you would hope that most of them go into that field because they genuinely want to help people, they also clearly go into it because they want to make a lot of money, and they're not going to make a lot of money off Medicaid patients. So that is why I'm not in therapy now. I would very much like to be, but you know, them's the breaks when you're broke, and haven't worked in almost 10 years, which is the case for me. My husband works, thank God, and he suffers from bipolar, and he's a trooper. He's just fabulous, and pushes through things a lot better than I do, clearly. The last job I had was for literally 4 days. When I lived in Florida, I worked for Publix, a grocery store chain, and 3 of the 4 days were training. And the fourth day was the actual day that I worked. And long story short, all 4 of those days, including the training days, I pretty much got hysterical every morning, like near nervous breakdown status, crying, screaming, freaking out, saying I would much rather run in traffic than go back to this job. And it had nothing to do with the job itself. It had to do with me being fucked up because of my disease. And I have not worked since then. I have not even tried, to be perfectly honest, because the terror of going through that again has been overwhelming. It's certainly not that we don't need the money, because we absolutely do. And my husband's, like I said, he's amazing. He supports me financially and emotionally in every other way, and says, honey, you know, you get a job because it gives you something to do and helps occupy your mind if and when you're ready. Don't worry about money. You know, we'll get by. We always have, and we've always just gotten by. To those of you who follow me on Facebook and stuff, it may look like, gee, you go out an awful lot. I mean, you go out to dinner and lunch, and you know, you go see movies and things, but people don't know that that's literally all we do. We don't buy shit. We don't, you know, go on big shopping sprees. We don't take extravagant trips. And it's really nobody's business anyway, any more than I choose to share it. But the fact of the matter is, you know, we don't have a lot of money. And if we spend money to go out to have a nice lunch, or, you know, and a nice lunch to us is let's take coupons and get buy one, get one free salad bar at Ruby Tuesdays, or, you know, go to our local Indian buffet and eat. And that's our meal pretty much for the entire day. And, you know, we do what little things we can do to make ourselves happy and try to get ourselves out of our funks. But today, nothing's working at all. So I thought maybe sharing with you guys would at least be a little bit cathartic and maybe open some of your eyes to what depression really is. Depression is not being sad for a reason. Depression is being sad for absolutely no reason. It's something that you feel and you can't escape from, at least for me. I mean, it's different for everybody, just like everything else. There's no, clear-cut standard of what depression is and how it feels. But for me, it feels like despair, and many times in the past, not now, thank God, knock on wood, because I'm on meds at least, it's felt like wanting to be dead, not because I wanted to be dead, but because being alive felt so shitty that I figured the alternative would just at least be peace. I mean, it would be nothing, depending on what you believe in, but it would not hurt anymore. Like I said, I no longer feel that way. I feel, I've lost so many people in my life that I don't want it to die. I want to live very badly. I just want to have a quality of life that's better than it is most of the time. I am, as I said, on meds. I'm on Medicaid, and thank God, one of them that my doctor recently prescribed for me, the generic of Klonopin. It's an anti-anxiety med. I think it's helping in conjunction with Prestige, which I'm taking for depression, and I'm literally only taking because I reached out to Pfizer, the parent company of Prestige, and I qualified for their low-income, need program, and thank God I am getting those meds free of charge right now. I have to recertify at the end of this year, beginning of next, and I'm praying to whatever God of, your belief, my belief is in the world, that I'll be approved again. I can't anticipate I wouldn't be. We're certainly not in any better financial state than we were before. In fact, we're in a worse financial state because we used to get food stamps, and now we still do, in the whopping amount of $16 a month. Because they no longer consider me part of my husband's household. They consider me an able-bodied person able to work, and therefore no longer qualifying for any type of assistance. So I'm literally, other than the Medicaid that we get for our financial need, I'm not in any way being helped. I'm certainly not on disability, because disability requires generally having an attorney to fight for you in court, and having a tremendously long paper trail showing that you are seeing a therapist and under psychiatrist care, which, of course, catch-22, you can't be if you're poor. So, yeah, people that need disability, if it's for something up here, good luck getting it, because it's incredibly difficult, as I've been told by not only other people who suffer from mental illness, but also professionals in the field as well. It's next to impossible to get. So yeah, it's an awesome system here in the U.S. If you're poor, you can't get mental health care, and you can't get, financial assistance to get mental health care because you can't prove that you need it. It's loads of fun. But anyway, but yeah, thank God for my meds, because if not for them, I probably would be dead, and I can say that with no hesitation. I've never actually attempted suicide, but I've certainly considered it more times than I can count, and considered methods, and considered, I don't know. I've considered it. Let's just say that. I love my husband. I love my mom. I love my family and friends. And I would never want to cause them that type of hurt. And that, in conjunction with my being somewhat stabilized on meds, is the reason that I no longer consider that. I think suicide is a terribly selfish act, but at the same time, I completely understand being in the place where you feel you have no other options. So I don't judge people that have considered it, and I honestly don't even judge people that have succeeded at it, because sometimes the pain is just too overwhelming. You feel like there's literally no other choice. I've absolutely been there. I hope to never be there again, but who knows? But you can probably see, because I can't stop playing with my hair, it is still damp. That means I washed it, so I did take a shower today. I am out of PJs. I'm in a technical shirt that I got at the Oyster Fest over the weekend, which was a fun event here on Long Island that I went to with my mom and my aunt. So I am dressed, I am washed, that's something. I went out and ran some errands today, even though I was in no mood to get out of PJs or my bed or get clean, but I did all those things, so I count those as small victories. I wrote an email to a friend reaching out, but hopefully not in a desperate way, because I don't want to be that person, even though I sometimes still am. But in a way, I guess that's what I'm doing with all of you guys too right now. This is my opportunity to vent and share how I feel. I have some friends locally, but most of my friends are scattered all over the country, all over the world, so it's hard to physically be in the same place as they are. And the few friends that I do have locally are working because they're, you know, higher functioning than I am, I guess. But yeah, my husband's upstairs right now trying to cope the best way he can because he's having a really rough day too. So he's playing Destiny on Xbox Live with some dear friends, and I'm so glad he has that outlet, because we're both introverts, and it's hard for us sometimes to connect with people in social settings and, you know, be in the world. Sometimes it's easier to just be text on a screen or a voice in a headset playing a game together, so I don't begrudge him that at all. After I shoot this and upload it, I'll probably do some crafts, because that helps keep my mind occupied. Right now I'm sitting on a pile of more bookmarks than I can even count. Some will be gifts, and some are just for me, and some are just are. It's just something to do and something to make. But yeah, so I have a dear friend, Marie, who was commenting to me on my Facebook page. We were chatting about this a little bit, and I hope she doesn't mind my saying that someone special in her life, I won't say who in case she watches this and doesn't want it out there, but someone special and dear to her doesn't really understand so much how depression works. And I know a lot of loved ones of people with depression probably don't. I have a brother who died from drug and alcohol addiction at the age of 36, and a lot of people don't understand that either, and I was one of them for a long time, and I'm still learning more about how that all works. The fact of how it becomes no longer a choice pretty early on in the game, especially if you're genetically predisposed. And yeah, depression's not a choice either. I mean, for those of you who need it spelled out in the most basic layman's terms, you know, cheer up doesn't work. Go outside and get sun. Not gonna happen. It's not gonna go, oh yeah, now I'm in the sun, now I feel so much better. Go exercise, you know, keep your mind busy. I mean, these are all good bits of advice, but they're not cures. Depression doesn't have a fucking cure. My meds are not a cure. Therapy is not a cure. It's like cancer. You can treat it, but it's not really ever going away. I mean, you can be in remission, but, you know, there's always that fear that it will rear its ugly head again. And mental illness is much the same way. There's no fix for it. I'm not ever going to be unbroken if you consider mental illness as being broken, and I do sometimes. And that's kind of self-defeating, and I probably shouldn't describe it in that way because it's harmful to myself and it's harmful to other people, but I feel broken a lot of the time. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to ramble too long, you guys, but it was important to me to get on and talk about this while I was in it, you know. It's one thing when I'm having a good day to be like, yeah, depression really sucks, but I'm in it right now, and it really, really does. Depression's so much more than sadness. You know, it's not a term that should be used to describe, you know, just the blues, you know, a temporary thing. It's, you know, I don't know. It's just, it's a hard nut to crack, and I wish more was being done to crack it. Certainly here in the United States, I wish that help was more easily available. I feel like it is in other countries. I mean, it's still not to where it should be, but like, for example, in Canada, there's a company called Bell, and they do a thing on Twitter every year with, I believe it's hashtag bellletstalk, and every time you tweet with that hashtag, a donation is made to help, you know, fight, to help learn more about mental illness, to help with treatment, to help with, you know, research, and we don't do that here in the U.S. I've certainly never seen that happen. It's not something that, you know, I mean, some people are speaking about it. There's an organization called NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness, and I participate in a fundraising walk for them every spring. I've done that for the past 3 years, I think, since I've been back in New York and known about it. There's another great organization, Bring Change to Minds, that Glenn Close is one of the founders of, and you know, those are great websites you can look up and get more information about mental illness and things you can do to help and ways you can help people who are afflicted. Just ways you can show that you care and support them, support us, because I'm certainly one of them. Yeah, so when I do want to make a quick mention of my nails, as you can see, I do have clear on 9 of my 10 nails, but I have color on just one. My husband actually found a hashtag on social media the other day called, I believe it's hashtag polished man, and I hope I'm correct about that. And basically there are men now polishing one fingernail on one hand to represent the 1 in 5 children that will be either physically or sexually or both abused before they reach the age of 18. That's something very meaningful and important to us. So my husband, being a man, decided he wanted to take part in that and to show solidarity with my husband in the cause. I did it as well, so I'm a polished woman, but yeah. So that's what that's about, in case anybody was wondering why just one green fingernail. But yeah, I'm gonna go because, you know, I could talk about this all day and you guys are not probably interested in that. If you've hung in through the video this far, I really, really appreciate it. It's important to me. It's not just about lip balm and, you know, opening mystery bags. For me, this channel is about a lot of things, and one of them is me, to be honest. You know, I'm not an egotistical person. I'm not narcissistic, I don't think, at all, but you know, it's about me and for me in many ways, and hopefully it helps you guys too. I don't want to be ashamed of being mentally ill, and I won't be. I went through too many years of that, of not wanting to talk about it, of not wanting anyone to know, being like the big, deep, dark secret. And, you know, who fucking says, you know, who hides the fact that they have diabetes, or, you know, that they have cancer, that they have, you know, I don't know, whatever illness they have. I mean, I know there's some secrecy regarding certain things. There certainly was back in the day with AIDS and HIV. Hopefully that's not so prevalent now, although I'm sure there's probably still people that, you know, don't want to talk about that either. And that's everybody's personal choice. Addiction, and, you know, that certainly still has stigma and shame attached where it shouldn't be. But anyway, yeah, so no holds barred with you guys. I'm putting my shit out in the street, and I don't give a fuck. You know, people are gonna judge. People always do. But I hope those of you that are here and that come here, you know, if you feel, you know, if the spirit moves you to share this with people that you think it will matter to, please do. I'm not here to collect subscribers. I mean, obviously the more the better, because it feels like what I'm saying is meaningful and matters to people, but I'm not going to get 1,000 or 10,000 or 100,000, and that's fine with me. You know, that's not my goal. This is not, you know, Twitter, Facebook, social media, YouTube, it's not my life. It's a big part of it. It's been a conduit to a lot of really important connections and people who I love dearly, that I might not have known other, you know, through other means, or maybe not at the time that I did. They might have come along later, who knows, but this is not my life, so, I mean, I'm not going to be, like, you know, begging for subs. But obviously, you know, each time a person clicks that sub button, or they, you know, they click a like arrow, it warms my heart. It matters to me. It really does, on, like, a personal, deep level, so if you do those things, that's really cool. And if you don't, if I'm not for you, you know, I would really deeply appreciate you not giving me a thumbs down, because it takes a lot of balls to share the way I'm sharing right now. And like I said, if I'm not for you, please, you know, I wish you well. Peace. Go find a page that's better for you. You know, there's so many channels. out there. You know, there's something for everybody. And if I'm not your cup of tea, tea, that's kind of funny, then, you know, then I wish you well. Move on. That's totally cool. But anyway, yeah. So I'm going to go. Thank you so much for listening, guys. If this was meaningful to you again, and you want to click like, or you want to subscribe if you're new here, or share this with your friends, that would mean a lot to me. But if not, that's cool too. Seriously. Okay? I love you guys. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye.